The salesperson did what?
The salesperson conned me into
Conned you? How did the salesperson con you?
because he pulled a fast one
How?
by talking so fast.
That's how he pulled a fast one? He persuaded you?
Yeah.
How big was a gun that he put to both of your heads to make you buy 2 new cars you can't afford?
This is the plaintiff, Deborah Mata. She says she's known the defendant for 30 years, so taking her to court today is very difficult for her. That being said, her former friend drove a car she insured without permission, got into an accident, and now owes her the $420 her insurance didn't reimburse her. All the defendant does is take advantage of people, but she won't be taken advantage of by the likes of her. So she's suing. This is the defendant, Amanda Turner. She doesn't feel she owes the plaintiff any money because she had the car repossessed after she hit a brick wall trying to avoid a cat. Meanwhile, she was giving the plaintiff money for the insurance, but the plaintiff wasn't giving it to the insurance company. So anything she's now out is on her. Period. She's accused of fouling up her friendship.
All parties, please use your right hand.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop their claims and have their cases settled here before Judge Marilyn Milian in our forum, the People's Court.
You see to come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas. Deborah Mata, you are suing Amanda Turner for $420 that you say she owes you and a deductible on a car that was in your name. Is that it?
I signed for the car for her.
Okay, tell me what's going on here. How do you know each other?
Her mother was going out with my brother. We've known each other for roughly 30 years.
Okay, is the mother and the brother here? You're the mother. Okay, so go on.
So, in August of 2016, everybody got a thing from the dealership, bring this cardboard in, you can win a prize. So I threw mine out, but Amanda kept hers. So she called me up to take her down to the Hyundai dealership. At the same time, while we were down there, the salesperson did a quick takeover and had her get a car and had me get a car, and both cars were in my name.
The salesperson did what?
The salesperson conned me into...
Conned you? How did the salesperson con you?
Because he pulled a fast one.
How?
By talking so fast.
That's how he pulled a fast one? He persuaded you?
Yeah.
How big was a gun that he put to both of your heads to make you buy 2 new cars you can't afford?
Well, I told him I couldn't afford it.
Then don't buy it.
I know.
That's an option, right? I mean, come on, guys. You know, you got there, the cars were shiny, right? They were pretty colors, and you wanted new cars. You both wanted new cars.
Well, I didn't
Why
want
couldn't you just get it without her help? Why did she have to go?
Because of my credit, and I had
How old are you?
34.
So you have bad credit, is what you're saying. All right, and how does a person get bad credit?
By not paying their bills.
Okay. So you put yourself in a position where she was going to have 73 months to give you the same credit she had.
Right.
Normally, a person would think, oh, wait a minute, this is a terrible idea. Look at all the things that can go wrong. I'm not going to do this. But no, the two of you left with bright, shiny new Hyundais?
No.
What year?
I had a 2015
It was a
Chrysler 16 Chrysler
pretty
Town
new.
and Country, and I was giving her the money to pay for the car.
Until what happened?
I hit a brick wall trying to avoid a cat. I had a permit. She lied
Wait,
to
were you driving the car with a permit and crashed into a wall?
Yeah.
Why are you driving the car with a permit? You're not supposed to be. You're supposed to wait until you have your real license, right?
Well, she allowed it.
What do you mean
lied.
she-
No, I didn't.
She
allow
allowed.
it.
It was
Oh my
parked
God!
at my house.
Stop a second. Do
It was-
either of is anything ever your fault, or is everyone else responsible for everything that happens to you? What you do from the minute you wake up in the morning to the minute you lay your head on the pillow, you answer for. Did you know that your daughter had a learner's permit and bought a car?
I didn't know until after they came home.
And so
After they went to the dealership, I didn't know what was going on.
did you express any reluctance on the idea and tell her you shouldn't be driving?
I didn't like the idea of, I thought it was nice of my sister-in-law to do it, but she should have talked to me because my daughter has an illness, and then everything that goes on with her, she doesn't understand, so I have to be with her. I don't want to.
All right, so let's talk about what happens. You crash a car, and then does the car go in to get fixed?
My other friend who wasn't here, her fiance was going to allow me to do it with pay him $300 to fix the damages.
Okay, what were the damages to the car?
Front end damage. I'm not exactly sure.
Was
what
the car drivable still?
Yes.
So were you still driving it?
With her in the car.
So then what happened?
The one that I had, the Landlord got repossessed because I could not afford the payments. I'm on disability, and
What was your big plan on how you were going to afford? How much were the payments?
the guy told me it was $75 a week.
So you paid those payments, though, for how many months?
No, I didn't. I only drove the car for a month, and I took it off the road to Wells Fargo, sent somebody down to pick the car up.
Okay. And what happened to that car?
She missed 2 payments, February and March payments.
And so which payments did she make? She made...
October, November, December, and
January. Okay, then she misses February and March, and the accident is when?
I think it was in November.
And then what happens?
I got a phone call and a letter from Rockland Federal stating
That's the bank.
that she missed February.
Okay,
and
I got
March.
it. She missed 2 payments, and they said what?
And then they said if she came up with $970 by April 14th, we can keep the vehicle. If not, it's going to have to be
So were you both
rebuilt.
using that vehicle now?
No, I didn't.
Was
use
she helping you, driving you places in that vehicle?
Sometimes, but not all the time.
So in any event, what happens? Does she come up with the $900 and something?
No.
So what happens?
So she had to bring the car to my house, and I had to drive to Rockland, Mass.
And turn in the car.
Yeah.
All right. And what's your version of that?
So she said that she was going to repossess the car, so we just gave her the car.
She didn't repossess the car. You make it sound like
she said she was going to turn in the car on April 14th, so we drove the car over to her and gave her the car on April 14th, so she brought it to the bank.
Right, but the only thing she is suing for here is the deductible of the insurance.
Right.
Now that is, I need you to explain to me what happened. When the car gets hit, does it get repaired?
Yes. What happened, I guess someone told her landlord that she hit the brick wall in the driveway. So
you mean you didn't immediately go to your landlord and confess that you had hit the brick wall? You were trying to hold it from the landlord?
All 3 of us went afterwards to
Well, the only reason why we went to her landlord is because he wanted the information on the car insurance.
So when we're talking about the deductible, you're talking about the landlord claiming against your insurance,
right?
Because you insured that car in your name,
right?
And let somebody with a learner's permit drive it.
Yeah.
So the $420 is money that you paid the landlord for the car crash.
No, I paid the Dodge dealership when they fixed the Town and Country car.
Whose is the Town and Country car? Her car?
Yes.
So
No, she thought she was
then
getting
the
a check.
car got fixed by whom? By the dealership?
Yeah.
The
Oh,
Dodge
well, then
dealership.
that's what she's suing you for is the $500 deductible, which according to you, she's already paid $80, and according to you, you've already paid $80. What is your defense on paying the $420 deductible?
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. So she veers to miss a cat, hits the wall. Is she responsible for the wall damage?
Yes, she is.
Really?
Yes.
She was doing a good thing.
Nevertheless, she created the damage to the other.
She did create the damage, but is she responsible?
Definitely, she's responsible.
What did she do wrong?
She didn't do anything wrong, but if you break someone's property, you need to fix it. You're responsible.
Is that right?
That's right. That's why it's called an accident.
Oh, no. An accident means you're not responsible. Negligence means you are.
Well, then let's call it negligent.
Oh, okay. Going inside the courtroom.
When I didn't have that car in my possession no more, I went through my landlord and I got a 2005 Town and Country. In order to drive it off of his lot, because he had a used dealership lot, you needed to have car insurance. So I said, okay, if I'm on her policy as a secondary driver, I should just be able to call up and get my own policy with just my name on it. And they said, well, sorry, we can't. And I asked the lady on the phone when I called them that day, I said, no, why can't I get my own policy if, you know, I was on as a co-operator of another vehicle? And she said, because that the insurance wasn't paid for at least 2 months, is what the lady told me on the phone.
But when is your phone call getting placed?
May 1st.
May 1st.
May 1st.
Okay.
Because I had to pay the down payment.
Okay, and
my mother
so what
paid
you're
that.
saying is, when was your last insurance payment?
We paid, the last payment was April 1st.
Okay.
Because why am I going to
And
pay car insurance
when
in
did
May
you
if
buy
I
the
ain't
new
driving
car?
it?
May 1st.
So you say
Yes.
that you paid for insurance in April and in March, and that when you called in May, on May 1st, that they told you they haven't received the last several payments. Do you have that in writing from the
No,
insurance
because I
company?
spoke to the lady on the phone.
Okay. Yeah, I know, but you spoke to a letter from them, then you can go and you have to actually get off your behind and go to the place and get a letter from them. That's what people do when they want to prove something. Okay.
Okay, this is March and April. Amica automatically takes out the auto loan and my apartment insurance. So Amica automatically takes it out of my account.
This is insurance on both cars or just on hers?
Just on hers, because mine was canceled the end of September of 2016. And I ended up paying half the insurance with her because I figured
She's
it was
got
right.
proof that it was paid, that it was taken out of her account. I'm looking at Amica, and according to this, these are covering the relevant dates that we're talking about. Okay, guys, we're done. You have a very specific agreement that you would pay any deductible that happens. That's why you started to pay it. I don't understand why you stopped, and I certainly have not heard a single shred of testimony that would justify you stopping. So I am going to order you to pay the plaintiff the amount that she's asking for, which is the remainder of the $420 that she paid on your behalf to the dealership to get the car fixed. $420, verdict for the plaintiff.
Okay, thank you.
And, listen, I got to tell you a couple things. You should have never done all of this.
I know.
Okay, because this caused now a rift in the family that's known each other 30 years. And
Yep.
you should have not done all of this. Do you guys talk to each other anymore?
No.
Well, I was talking to her too every time that we would talk on Facebook or something. First thing she does is, well, is Mandy going to give me money? Mandy going to give me money? Instead of saying hi or how's the kids and stuff.
And
That's
here
why
we
I
are,
stopped talking.
$420, verdict for the plaintiff, broken family.
Okay.
Well, in this family dispute, it's the plaintiff who prevails and is going to get that $400 and some back. You know, one wonders if you guys have learned anything from all of this. What do you think?
Yeah, I've learned.
I mean, you just heard the judge give you a pretty stern lecture. What do you think? No comment, huh?
No, I've learned my lesson.
What have you learned? How about you?
Well, I try to be the peacemaker, but it doesn't work. So
What do you think's going to happen to the family here?
I have no idea.
All right. Well, listen, on your way. Thank you very much. Sorry. What a mess, huh?
I know. You try to do a favor for a family and you get kicked in the butt and never again. I'm not doing nothing.
You know it was stupid what you did.
Yes, I know it was. I regret every minute of it.
Well, I hope you do.
I do.
Yeah, and the judge let you have it too.
Yeah.
But
I'm
you are
glad
going to
she
get
did.
the money.
Yeah.
That 420, I think it is, right?
Yes.
You're going to get that back. That's okay. But you think it's probably all over between you guys?
Yeah.
Maybe, maybe not. You don't know.
Maybe. Well, I haven't talked to my brother for a few years, but, you know.
Okay. Well, listen, be on your way and good luck to you.
Thank
okay?
you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, I got to say, Doug, it's an interesting scenario. You could say that the driver is not responsible, but the fact is that all things considered, when you're driving, the driver would be responsible. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
This is the plaintiff, Gladys Oquendo. She says the sneaky defendant, her former landlord, is as crooked as they come because he's refusing to return her security deposit, and that's not fair or legal. He says the place needs to be painted, but she lived there for 6 years, and a landlord always has to paint when a property turns over. She's ready for her day in court. Is suing for $2,950 and can't wait until she wins her case. This is the defendant, John Caruso. He says the plaintiff painted his white walls a cocoa brown. That's why he's entitled to paint the place to restore it to its original color. No prospective tenant's gonna want to live with an ugly brown paint on the walls, and he has every right to withhold her security. Besides, there were also about 100 holes in the walls, which needed repair, and he begs to differ on who's gonna win this case. He's accused of taking advantage of a tenant.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket. The plaintiff says her landlord is super crooked. She lived there for 6 years now. Landlord's trying to charge her for repainting. Come on. But the defendant says the woman painted the walls cocoa brown. It's the case of cocoa puffery.
Thank you, Douglas. Gladys Oquendo, you are suing John Caruso for $2,950 that you say he owes you, $1,000 for a gate you installed that you claim he was supposed to reimburse you for, and $1,950 for the security deposit, none of which he returned to you, correct? What's going on?
I rented his house for 6 years. He's trying to tell me that the color was different and it's the same color that he gave it to me.
The cocoa brown?
Yes, that's the color it was when I rented the house. So in 6 years, he never painted. So when I moved out, I made sure I cleaned his house. I left my refrigerator there. I left my shed. The gate, I had to leave. It wasn't even a year when I bought it because I thought I was going to spend more years in there.
Right.
So
He asked you to leave. You were on a month-to-month, and he asked you to leave, and according to you, part of what led you to do that was that you were trying to sell the house.
Yes, ma'am.
And you were trying to sell it to her, but you wanted to sell the house.
Yes.
So how did it come to a head that you decided she's got to go while I'm trying to sell it?
It was like they were dragging us along, Your Honor. We offered it to them a bunch of times, and they never came to the table. And it was summertime. That's the best time to sell a shore house. And they dragged us along, and we tried to bring this together. We couldn't. She asked us, she had some family problems. Please wait, please wait. We did. Here it is coming October, November. We said, look, we're going to sell the house. Either you come to us or not. And she said, we're not. I said, okay. I'm going to let the real estate in there. The real estate.
Who is the person next to you?
My wife, Nicole.
Who is the person there?
My daughter, Samantha.
Okay, go on. And that's your daughter?
We asked the real estate asked if they could do an open house the first week. The real estate asked if they could go in. She let them in. The real estate asked if they could do an open house. She denied them. So once she said that.
Is that accurate?
Yes, because
Are you surprised that then you got evicted? Because you're on a month-to-month, and if they want to sell it, it's their property, not yours.
Right, but
all you have a right to do is get 30 days notice before you're told to move out.
Right.
That's your only right. And then you wanted your security deposit back, and then you held it. Why did you hold the security deposit?
When we went there, Ms. Oquendo, to do the walkthrough, there was holes everywhere that she took spackle and spackled. There was probably 30 or 40
Do you have pictures?
holes.
Yes, right?
Yes, we do. And I said, well, you have to paint. I wasn't making her paint the color, Your Honor. I don't disagree the color at all.
Was brown when she moved in?
The color was brown. It was brown. She moved in. But she spackled now.
And
she
so
put
now
spackle
the place
everywhere.
Okay,
so
hold
now
on one
the place has to be painted.
All right. So this
Not
is what
only
you're
did
talking about.
Not only did they just spackle, yes, that's what I'm talking about. Not only did they just spackle, they didn't really do a good job. They just put a coat on the wall. There's no sanding. They just did
There's
that.
no skimming. There's no reapplying. There's
skimming.
still holes.
On top of that, Your Honor, Ms. Oquendo was a smoker. And if you look at the grates and you look at the pictures that were on the wall, you could actually see the smoke outline in the rooms that my painter had to actually use a solution to wipe down first and then paint the place. There, Your Honor, that picture there. You see all the smoke outline on the pictures? It's everywhere.
It's 6 years.
Are you a smoker?
Not now, but that was 6 years of not painting him.
I understand. I don't know where people get the impression that you have to paint every time a tenant switches, or you have to paint every X amount of time.
That right there, if you go back, Your Honor, that's spackle in the floor.
So do you think that was left there by who? Who did the spackling work?
My friend, but we didn't do nothing on the floors, only the walls where the pictures were at. I don't even know what that came from. That wasn't like that.
Okay. Do you have the original lease?
Yes, ma'am.
May I see it? Did you offer to return any of it, or you said no?
Yes.
Okay.
She said, no, I want all my money. I said, but there's damage here. You have to account for the damage. She said, no, I'll see you in court.
So if the tenant paints this apartment cocoa brown, can the landlord dock the security to repaint it to the original color?
Yes, because usually the security deposit covers enough to replace the apartment.
Can the landlord use that security to repaint?
Yes, the security deposit is supposed to restore it back to its original condition.
What do you say?
I have no comment.
No comment? What, like I'm Mirandizing you? What do you say?
Yeah, I agree they should use the security deposit to repaint.
Fair enough. Going inside the courtroom.
Have you painted it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
May I see the bill and the proof of payment on the painting? You know that in your lease you sign condition of premises. The lessee stipulates, represents, and warrants that lessee has examined the premises and that they are, at the time of this lease, in good order, repair, and in a safe, clean, and tenantable condition. You know that, right?
Okay, yes,
And I was
ma'am.
looking for that because most leases have that in there. And so if you received it damaged, then why don't you note the damage you're talking about on those wood floors? You wouldn't have signed that. You would have said, except for blah, blah, blah.
We have the same lease, too.
Let's see that we do. What I said was number 5.
I signed the one that's number 16, I underlined.
Okay, we'll get there because I'm still
So
on
it's wear
number
and tear.
7, alterations and improvements. Shall make no alterations. What are we referring to there? The back gate?
Yes.
Tell me your version on the back gate.
There was an issue with the renters next door. Originally, the house had a gate down the left side, but the house next door had access. They had an access gate that comes onto my property. No problem for years, but Mr. Quendo had some dogs, and the people had been coming through my property and leaving the gate open, giving them a problem. So after a while, her not agreeing with the people next door, I agreed to put a gate down the side of the house. So when she called...
You paid for that.
I paid for that. So she called up to get the fence guy. I said, get a fence guy, I'll pay. He calls me and he tells me a price of $3,500. I said, that's very high. I'm in the business. That's high. He said, well, you got
What
this.
business are you in?
I own a construction company.
Oh. Where was the... Okay, so do you have painters?
Yes,
Why'd you pay so much if you're in the business?
because what do you mean pay so much? That was cheap compared to what he did, Your Honor.
Okay.
Especially with the wipe and the nicotine. I know what that entails.
Yeah.
I said, that's excessive, the $3,500. He said, well, the swing gates cost a lot of money. I said, what swing gates? I have a straight fence. That's it. He said, no, they want that. So I called him. I said, look, I never agreed to this. My fence in the back works. It's fine. There's nothing wrong. It was PVC. It was a little older, but it works fine. She went back and forth. She's like, please, it's not going to match. And at this time, they were intending to buy the house. So she says, look, I want it. I said, okay, if you want it, you pay for it. I'm not going to reimburse you. It's going to stay with the house. You ever leave, it's on you.
Is he lying?
Not entirely the way it would happen. Because
so you
I
tell
have
me what's
nothing to
different.
do. I was a renter. He was doing this with my friend. That he rented the backyard for $300
Yeah, but
a month.
who was supposed to pay for the back?
He was. That's his property.
You're telling me under oath that he told you he'd pay you back. Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, now you can explain to me why in your demand letter, when you send him a letter and say, I want my security deposit. By the way, you have excellent penmanship.
Thank you.
It's a lost art. But when you in your demand letter, you never mentioned the gate. Can you
Because-
tell me?
because
in fact, what you say is, I left my fridge and I left the $1,000 gate.
Okay.
That's what you say. So if you're supposed to get paid back, wouldn't you say, and where's my $1,000 that you were supposed to pay me back in that?
Your Honor, because honestly, I just wanted my security back because he didn't give me enough time to move out.
I think you're lying about whether
Okay.
whether he ever told you he'd pay you back for that gate. So let's talk about the security. Did you ever send her any, or because she said, I'll see you in court, there was no money transferred?
I sent her a text and I said.
I got it. Yes or no? Did you send any money? That's all I'm asking.
No.
Okay.
No, Your Honor.
I'm now going to read to you your answer to her complaint, because again, we don't make things up here. When the plaintiff moved into the house, the walls were white. After she moved in, she painted it a cocoa brown. You remember saying that? Do you remember reading it this morning and then reading the statement and in fact filling in things that needed to be only left side, not back gate, blah, 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 all, and then signing it and adopting this as your statement?
Your Honor,
Yes or no, do you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so, but she didn't paint it cocoa. You have since learned that the prior tenant did or something?
That's not correct. It was all white when she moved in. She painted it cocoa.
No, I did
Yeah,
not.
but your husband testified earlier.
I understand
I'm
that.
not saying she painted it cocoa.
If I may, Your Honor, if I may.
Yeah, if you may, could you get it right? Did you rent it to her cocoa? Did you rent it to her white?
No, it was white, Your Honor.
Then why did you say earlier, I'm not saying she painted it cocoa, it was
Because
that way?
I want to release her from that so we could get on to the
From
better
the cocoa?
argument. No, the better argument of the walls being damaged. The
It is a
color
better argument. Why don't you just be truthful instead of lying?
The Ketterog, I didn't mean
but
to,
why don't
Your
you
Honor.
just be truthful?
Just don't remember, Your Honor.
And
My
why don't
wife
you
has a
just
better
be
memory.
truthful?
My wife has a
Whoa,
better
shocked and
memory.
appalled. I've just yelled at you for 5 minutes. You know what I'm referring to. All right. Now, so here we are, and the argument that we are left with is, hey, there's a lot of spackle, and there is. So the question is, do you just paint the cocoa over the spackle, or does it require an entire new paint job of white, where covering cocoa with white is a place I've been. And I know that's why that paint job is more expensive, because it requires many, many coats. Is this person your painter or a sub?
Sub.
Yeah. So no, you're not going to get the entire 1,800, because I believe that if you don't have proof it wasn't cocoa, then a lot of that painting had to do with covering cocoa. Okay. So we're done, and here's where we are. I am looking at the security deposit. I am looking at the damage to the walls. I hear what you're saying about when it's smoke, there's an extra treatment. I understand that. And I am going to order you to return 0 on the fence, since I don't believe you ever said you were going to reimburse her for the fence. Otherwise, there would have been reduced rent the next month. But I am going to order you to return $950 to the plaintiff of the security deposit. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $950.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So after a lot of discussion, the plaintiff is going to get $950 back of the security, not the almost $3,000 she was seeking. You said you were going to send her some back. What were you going to send back to her? Actually, to you.
$650. That's what we offered her in the beginning.
So she's going to get $950. You're going to give her
Not far off.
$300
No.
more than you expected to.
Correct.
Okay. You all right with this?
I'm fine with that.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, very good. By the way, which was it? Was it cocoa or white?
It was white.
It was white.
We'll never know. I tell you, I don't think we'll ever know. Miss Oquendo, if you'll come back out here, please. Let me ask you, was it cocoa or was it white?
Cocoa, my daughter, everything.
It was cocoa. Oh, well, look, you're only going to get...
It's a nice color, too.
I know. You're going to get $950 back, not the $2,950 you were asking. You okay? It's over.
is what
It's
it is.
done. It is
Exactly.
what it is. You're right.
It's over.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, very good. Harvey?
Okay, here's a simple rule. Do not do anything to an apartment unit in terms of altering it without the landlord's written permission. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
This is the plaintiff, Barbara Kerr. She says she hired the defendant to fix a broken window in her house, paid him, and the guy disappeared without doing the work. She tried calling him 3 or 4 times to see when he was coming, but then got a call from the cops who said the defendant claimed she was harassing him. Oh, that scared the skinny out of her. So she's here suing him for the $623.76 she's owed. This is the defendant, Thomas Demain. He says he was about to start the work on the plaintiff's window, but a day before he was scheduled to arrive, she called the state police claiming he stole her money. Huh? It had only been a few hours since he last saw her, and now she's calling the state police accusing him of a crime? She also called his boss, and he was fired due to this false allegation. This woman's a nightmare. He owes her nothing and feels the judge will agree. He's accused of taking the money and running.
All parties, please use your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff hired the defendant to fix a broken window, paid in full, and then the guy disappeared. But the defendant says he didn't show because she called the cops on him. It's the case of All About Eves.
Barbara Kerr, you are suing Thomas Demain for the amended amount of $632.76. The rest of the balance that you paid him that you want returned to you because according to you, he didn't do his job. Tell me how you two came into contact with each other.
Well, I was a manager of an apartment building with 4 buildings, and he sent me an email looking for an apartment, and I where do you work? And he said, I sell windows. And I said, well, you know, I need a new window.
So he tells you, according to your complaint, he tells you that to replace the window will be $1,500?
I don't remember that.
Well, that's what you said in your complaint. And so your husband wrote him a check for $300. And then you decide the next day that you want additional work done, so your husband wrote him another check for $532.76. So the total that you paid him was $832.76. Is that correct?
He came to do the work on that day.
Okay, I'm going to ask your husband. Is that correct, sir?
Yes, it is.
Okay, and because you're the one who paid the checks.
Yes.
Okay, all right. So he's supposed to come back that same day, right? It's a Sunday or something?
He was to do the work that day.
Okay. Did he come back that day?
He was going to start the work, and it was like a 4x6, 5x7 window. And I said, you cannot carry that by yourself, you'll get hurt. Yes, I can. And I said, no. And he said, I have a helper
I need you to
who will
stay at
help
the
me,
podium. Go ahead.
who will help me, but he charges an extra $100 a day. I said, that is all right. I'll pay the extra $100. I want you to be safe. He came back with his father. I did not know that was his father.
Okay, did he do
not
the work, yes or
introduce him
no?
to set.
Can you just say yes or no? Did he do the work?
No, he did not.
All right, and then but if he didn't do it that day, did he do it the next day, or did he make an excuse?
He said he was coming back. If I would give him another check, he would replace all the rotted wood, and his helper would come with him, and he was a very religious work. They would come right after church and do it all on
and did
Sunday.
he come back?
No, they did not.
Okay, and so now we're on Monday. What happens on Monday?
Well, I don't know, because Sunday I went to his father's house, and his father said he could not get a hold of him. I don't know where he is.
So when do you go to the police?
That Sunday I
Are you
called
serious?
the officer.
Okay, sir, can I ask you this question? I'm wondering, why was it so precipitous to go to the police on the day a contractor doesn't show up is unusual. So wait a minute, hold on one second. So I kind of want to know, why did that happen? Why did you guys get so nervous that he wasn't going to do the job?
I don't think it was that quick. It was, as soon as we decided he wasn't coming back, that's when we went to the police.
But it was the same day.
No, it wasn't the same day.
You
called the police, right? So the
He
police
did not.
report
He was
will
to
tell
do
us.
the job on Saturday, and they came and said,
I know, but 2
if
days
I
is
would
very
give them more
quick.
money, they would do.
So
Yes,
the police report
that
says
was
you
part
called
of
the
the
police
reason we were
on
going to have him do the job, because
incident
it was
date
quick.
8/28, and that is Monday. That's the day you call the police. So what
No,
happened with
Sunday
you?
we
I'm going to
called.
need you to stop. Now I'm going to ask you what happened here.
I came out and looked. She wanted one little storm window replaced and some rotted wood around that one window. So I gave her a price for that. I called over to the glass company.
Okay. Did you order the glass? Yes
I
or
did.
no? May I see proof of that?
I have nothing left.
Well, then
Yes.
we have a problem, don't
Yep.
we? Because it's Sunday, so I don't know how
Yep.
you order the glass on Sunday. But okay. Actually, it's Saturday. It's Saturday. So maybe you could order the glass, but I'd kind of expect to see the order. And you have no proof of having ordered it. Then you say, you come in to do the work, and she's worried about you holding that glass alone and insists that she'll pay extra so that you can be safe. Did that happen?
No, it's when I went there with the material, most of the material except for the glass, I told her it was going to take a week for it to come in.
The glass?
Yes.
But you never
Wait,
ordered
no,
the
no,
glass.
no, ma'am. You can't just shout out when you want. Look, you are lovely, but I cannot have you just shouting out whenever you want.
I apologize.
It's okay. So
but
try
he
to
never
ordered
ordered the glass.
No, not I apologize, comma, let me shout out. Just don't shout out.
So would you ever pay a contractor up front in full?
No, never. You have to make sure they're going to do the job right.
And why would they not do the job right if they get paid up front?
Well, I don't know. You know, some people are just crooks.
What do you say?
Yeah, if they just take all the money, they might just not do a good job.
That's the credo to live by going inside the courtroom.
So I came there with the brick molding and the paint and everything to go ahead and clean up the outside because the outside is just a storm window. That's all she wanted to replace was just a piece of glass. So I went there with my father to do the work.
Wait, what work are you going to do if you don't have the glass?
The glass is just a storm window. She wanted the wood around it replaced, and you
Okay.
can't put the glass on until the wood's
Yeah,
replaced.
but how are you going to do that if you don't have the new glass to put in? How are you going to replace the wood? You can?
You can replace the wood, but you can't put the new glass on
Okay,
until
so did
all
you
the wood.
replace the wood, yes or no?
She told me not to do the job that day. And
Why did she say don't do the job?
You don't have enough guys with you. I want you to at least have 2 guys with you. So I says, okay. So she goes, okay, well, what day would be best for you? I said, well, it'll take me a couple of days to get the material together.
Do you have a written contract?
Just the only copy they have because after they actually contacted my employer, they got me fired and I got evicted from
Well,
my
you
house.
got fired for doing side jobs.
Well, I'm an independent / subcontractor.
Then why'd you get fired?
She actually sent the state police to my company.
Oh, okay, but that doesn't get you fired. I'm sure your boss looked at the circumstances. There's something you did wrong, and normally they don't want you taking side jobs from them. They want you referring the job to them. That's your business. You're an employee of a glass company, and they don't want you taking side jobs from them. I mean, that's kind of what makes sense, right? So you ended up getting fired for doing a side job.
No, they fired me for them saying that I stole from them.
The police end up getting involved, and they contact you when?
Literally after the second check on that date, the next day they called the state police.
So that was on Monday or Sunday?
I believe it was on Sunday, I believe.
Okay, and then what happens?
Like I said, I was out trying to get the material, and
Why
that's when the
didn't
state
you
police.
go on that Sunday like you said you would?
I told her I was getting the material on Sunday, and I'd be out there on Monday. And literally, like I said, right after I got the check, I cashed that next morning. I went to go get the material, and the next thing I know, I got state police telling me I stole
Okay,
from
now
them.
you ended up telling the state police, whoa. I literally spoke to her yesterday.
Yes, I literally
But you
did.
told the state police you'd pay her back. And then
I
you
spoke-
started to pay her back.
Yes, I told the state police that, look, I says, if this is how it's going to be, I do not want any part of the job. I started making a...
And you paid her, how much did you pay her?
I paid her $300 one time, and then another $200.
Can you prove that?
No, I cannot. Like I said, everything. I lost everything.
Dude, I'm
Yes, I
serious.
know.
Okay,
I
like
lost
if
everything.
you can't prove that cash doesn't leave one hand
Yep.
without a receipt going into the other.
Yep.
According to her, you only paid back $200. If you paid back $500, I'm going to need some proof of that.
Yep.
And you have zero.
Like I said, I understand that. I lost everything I owned because of her cause.
What does that have to do with having a receipt when you pay $300? You could grab the nearest crayon and the nearest roll of toilet paper and write a receipt and make sure you have proof that
Everything I had was in an apartment that I got evicted from, and I didn't
So
have access
before
to.
getting evicted, you go like this and you take everything. You don't have to get thrown out by marshals, dragged out. You could move stuff out. Everything's not someone else's fault. Everything isn't someone else's fault. You got caught doing a side job, you got fired for that. You knew that risk when you decided to take a side job. Wow. There are times in life where promising to pay someone back, you don't have to abide by, and there are times when you do. And, she ended up dropping everything else because you said you'd pay her back. And that's what you told the police so that you wouldn't get prosecuted. And then what happens is you pay her $200 and then you either you pay her another $3 and then you stop, but you don't allege that you paid her the whole thing. Why did you stop paying?
She started, like I said, she started going to my parents' house, and she's also contacted my underage niece at the bus stop demanding money from my father and my niece.
Are you the father?
Not true.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. You know
That's
what?
mission
Pay the lady
business.
the rest of the money. I understand that this is unusual. It really is unusual. But I'm going to ask you I'm going to order you, not ask you, to just pay the remaining money that's outstanding because you can't avoid prosecution based on that and have her drop everything and then, turn around and say, I don't like how you've conducted yourself, so now I'm going to go back on that and I'm not going to pay it. I am with you that it was very unusual to call the police on the day or the day after you didn't show up. I think it's ridiculous, okay? But once everything gets involved and you say you're going to do something to the police, and that's why you don't get prosecuted, you don't get to have it both ways. Pay the money back, $632.46, verdict for the plaintiff.
What's that?
So the plaintiff is going to get her money back. I can't believe you'd be surprised at the judge's decision, are you?
No, I'm not surprised.
You do owe the money. You got to get it back.
Yeah, like I said, I know my lesson not to take jobs from certain people.
Yeah, but then also when you make an agreement you're going to do something,
Yeah.
follow it up, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, you must sign a few documents in the back. Now here comes Ms. Kerr. If you'll step over here, ma'am. You're obviously not a lady to be messed around with, are you?
I hope that I'm a kind person.
Not very
That's all I can say.
Not very patient, though, right?
But that's probably not a plus, but he makes up for it. He's very patient.
Okay. All right. Well, you get the money back, okay? Thank you very much. You must sign a few documents, and the door is that way. Okay?
Thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Thanks again.
You're very welcome. Harvey?
There's no magic number, but it is clear, do not ever pay fully up front. Usually you pay 50% before the job begins and withhold the other 50 until the job is complete.
Don't text and drive. The People's Court is a Ralph Edwards Stu Willett production.